I was talking with my coworkers a couple days ago, and one of the topics of discussion that we happened upon was one of my coworkers said that his son was going to college. And he said that he was going to a community college and he was very unwanting to take any student loan debt. And everyone else was very supportive of this idea. They were saying it was a great and very smart thing for him not to take any debt, and it's really good that he was so conscious at a young age to be able to say like, hey, I don't want debt. I want to be responsible with my money. I want to be able to do things in a way that I'm able to save money by going to a community college. And number two, work while going to school so that I'm able to avoid student loan debt. So that was everyone else's position. But I disagree. And I said this in the conversation. I said, I actually don't think that that's such a good idea. And at first, people thought that I was joking about it, but as I kept explaining myself, they realized, like, oh, he's being, number one, he's being serious, and number two, they started to realize that what I was saying was actually fairly valid. And what my argument was is that speed is extremely important. Because what's going to happen, and I can talk to this specifically because it happened in my case, is I went into engineering and I took so long. I went to a community college. I worked full time. And some terms I didn't even go to school because I was trying to pay for I was saving up money to pay uh for the next term. And I avoided debt. All of these things, right? And what happened to me was the ground slipped out right from under my feet. And because the market is going to change, the in demand skills are going to change. If you are able to move fast, you are going to be the first one in the line. Now, for example, if you're seeing AI is really hot right now. And, if you just take one class per term, if you do something very slow, you're not very intense. You just study it. Maybe after work you come home and you study a little bit and then you relax and you're just casually going about things. Well, guess what? By the time you actually get competent, there's going to be 10,000 people who are right in front of you, and you're going to get in line and maybe the market is already gone. If it's not already oversaturated with people, it might not even be an in-demand skill anymore. That market might have evaporated. So if you are able to move quickly, and that has multiple aspects. Number one, it might be that you are very quick. You're able to learn things really quickly. You're able to move fast. You have that advantage. That's one. Number two is that you have that intensity in you, that you're not leisurely doing something. You are intensely going fast forward. If you are able to do that and get somewhere quickly, this is an immense advantage to you. And so the question now is, okay, does that quickness justify you taking on debt? Does that quickness justify you spending more money and not going to a community college? And this is going to depend on your specific case, but what I'm thinking is, at least for looking back at my experiences, I think it absolutely would have been justified for me to have not gone to a community college because you would have wasted a long time kind of just. I was studying, but I was working full time and I would come home and I would be tired, and it was just that I would have been able to go so much faster if I just took on as much debt, not as much debt as I can, but you get what I mean. If I just took on the debt to go to a state school, went right to Oregon State University, didn't mess around with Portland Community College at all, just went right to Oregon State, took on the debt, went intense engineering, no work, no part time, not even, no full time, not even part time, just study, get the degree fast as fast as possible, graduate, And all of a sudden, now I'm at the front of the line. The market didn't move right from under my feet. Back when I made the decision to go into engineering, the job market was hot. Engineering was the hot thing, you know? You could get a job so quickly as an engineer because at that time it was hot. So if you could get into the front of the line, you're good. You are good. But it took me so long to finally graduate. By the time I graduated, the tech apocalypse had already occurred. I graduated and it took me 6 months. I sent out over 1,000 applications. I was absolutely desperate. Thank goodness I finally found an internship and was able to take that internship, transfer it over to a full-time position. But I was in a bad position because the market has slipped right from under my feet. And if you are not moving quickly, the longer that time frame is. So that's something to consider is I didn't really consider that point when I was first getting out of high school. I was thinking very similar to the way that my coworker's son is thinking is, you know, I don't want to take on debt. I want to save money. Now, in my specific case, I wasn't eligible to take student loans or uh, get the FAFSA, the financial aid. So I wasn't even eligible for these two things, but I was thinking very much in that line of I want to make sure that I'm responsible. I want to do things in a very correct way. But I didn't think about the point of quickness, and I didn't factor the value of quickness in to my equation. So it's just a little bit of a warning. It's something to consider. See about, okay, well, does quickness validate or change this equation in your life? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I do think it is something to consider. One of the other things that I forgot to mention was as you're young, you are going to have so much energy and you are going to be able to move just, you have so much energy and you're able to focus on your job. You don't have all of these other outside distractions, any of that. So, as you're young, if you graduate at 21 years old and you are able to go from 21 to let's say 28, and during this time frame, you are able to dedicate a lot of time to your work. Oh my goodness, you are going to be very, very solid. So this is another huge advantage. And if you are during that same time frame, you can either be gaining real work experience as an engineer, or you can be messing around doing a part-time job or a full-time job that isn't real engineering. I remember, and this got me a little bit kind of depressed when I heard this, is when I was first applying for jobs right after I graduated from university, I had spent 8 years as kind of like a robotics technician, and I was doing an interview, and the person was asking me about my time there, and they said, "Oh, okay, so it's like a mechanic job." Anyways, can you tell me about your senior project? Oh, you have no idea how much it hurt to have just like 8 years of your life just like blown away, just thrown away like that. I was like, and then it hurt again when on my resume I finally made the decision to just delete it. I took that 8 years of experience off my resume, and that hurt because I s- I was really ambitious at that job. I tried to learn as much as I can. I started off as an operator and moved into the position where I was a robotics technician. And I, it was very unfortunate. I was super sad when I finally came to the realization that no, I need to take it off my resume. I finally deleted it and it just felt like 8 years of my life wasted. So, if I would have instead put those 8 years into being a professional, graduated early, it would have put me so much more ahead in my own career. Now, live and learn, but I want to share some of my experiences. That way, hopefully, other people are able to not make the same mistakes that I did, take into consideration some of the things that I didn't take into consideration when I was making these decisions. That way, you are able to make a more informed decision and better for your personal situation. So, anyways, thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, subscribe. I make engineering videos, both projects, leak code. I talk about engineering, all sorts of engineering related videos. So if that's interesting, subscribe. I would love to have you around. My name is Timothy Lee Grant, and I will see you guys very soon.